126 years ago when Cork and Waterford met for the very first time in the Munster Championship. The year was 1888 and the score was Cork 2-8, Waterford no score. Their last provincial meeting 4 years ago in 2010 was a much happier occasion for the Daoise when Dan Shanahan scored the only goal in a Munster final replay after extra time on this very pitch here in Thurles to win the provincial title. The winter and spring just gone saw these two counties like passing ships in the night. Cork were promoted from Division 1B to 1A, Waterford were relegated and so went in the opposite direction. But the Allianz Hurling League is over, this is Championship, and previous form can mean little when it comes to Munster hurling. Cork looked strong on paper, Waterford have been badly hit with injuries. So what will it be? How will this story develop? Who will play Clare on June 15th in a Munster semi-final? Will that match be a repeat of last year's All-Ireland final thriller? Or will Davy Fitzgerald's former teammate, now Derek McGrath, emerge from the shadows? It all depends on the next 70 minutes. Michael Dignan is with me here. You expect a few last dramatic alterations to the lineup, Michael?
Well, I don't know how dramatic, but Michael Walsh, better known as the Brick, has been outstanding at centre-back for the last, I suppose, 5 or 6 years, but he started his career at midfield with Waterford. And I'm expecting him to line out in midfield with Kevin Moran at going back to centre half back. I think teams have been trying to exploit Michael Walsh's lack, maybe perceived lack of pace, but Kevin Moran is very, very athletic and he'll be able to cover left and right, so I'm expecting him to go back centre back and Michael Walsh in the middle of the field.
It's a windy afternoon here in Semple Stadium. It would appear that Waterford won the toss and they're going to be playing from left to right as we look.
Yeah, Marty, but you'd have to say a very small crowd here. Atmosphere, maybe 12, 13,000 is all that's in here, which is disappointing after the brilliant championship we had last year.
And there's a minute's silence here for the Joe O'Brien, who died recently, chairman of Ardmore Club in County Waterford, a great GA man, died at a very young age of 62. We pass on our deepest sympathies to the O'Brien family in Ardmore.
Marty, I'd have to say, after last year, the expectation going into this year's championship, it's unbelievable. Like, I can't remember in my lifetime a championship like last year's. All the great games and a lot of surprises along the way. Nobody expected, this time last year we were saying it had to be Kilkenny or Tipperary to win the All-Ireland. It ended up with Clare and Cork contesting brilliant replay, Clare and Dublin the semi-final games of the year, and I'm expecting another cracker today.
Sean Tracy pipe bands are now playing, of course, as you can hear, a rendezvous. Cork have won 51 Munster titles. It's 8 years since the Rebels won the Munster Championship. That's the longest gap since the 10-year period between 1956 and 1966 wins. The match referee, he's refereed 2 All-Ireland finals, including the drawn match last year between Cork and Clare. It is, of course, the man from Offaly, Brian Gavin. Match is underway. Munster Championship 2014 is up and running. In the middle, it's a bit of a melee at the early stages. Pat Cronin is there, so too is Keane McCarthy. There's a high challenge, and that's going to be a free for Waterford, just a few metres outside their own 65-metre line. Wind advantage favouring the Daoise in this first half. The foul was on Paig de Burka, championship debutant. And judging by the team line out there, Michael, I think that Paig de Burka is actually operating at left half back rather than right corner back.
And Barry Coughlin moving back into the corner. Tariq Mahoney, tough free just to settle him down out in the middle of the field.
Tariq Mahoney gives it everything. It's looking good from here. The umpire is going for his flag. It's the first score of the Munster Championship 2014, and the credit goes to Tariq Mahoney. Might have been a long way out, Michael, but he hit it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it's a brilliant free taker when he's on song, and that's a great start for his confidence.
Puck out from Anthony Nash, straight for his Park Cronin. Captain from Bishopstown, giving it to a Mill Street man, Mark Ellis, the first from that North Cork club to play senior championship for the Cork hurlers. They've produced so many footballers in the past. This is a man who's been making quite a reputation for himself in the Alliance League. Younger brother of Owen Cadigan. This is Alan. Good footballer as well. Another one of the dual stars that are on the banks of the league. Patrick Horgan from Glen Rovers takes his first free of the championship this year and scores a point. Sides are level.
Yeah, and I think both Mark Ellis there, nice ball into the corner, and Alan Cadigan got a yard on Barry Coughlin, and that'll settle down both of them debutants, and a soft free for Barry Coughlin to give away early in the game.
Good puck out from Stephen O'Keefe. Oh, magnificent catch by Aidan Walsh. Very much the spotlight on him this afternoon with his first championship appearance in the red and white of the Cork hurling fraternity. Noel Connors equally got a good catch. This, however, is Stephen McDonnell. Cian McCarthy tries to control us, but Slipher came at high speed. Ty DeBurka is there, but Cian McCarthy is doing well. Lovely stick work by Cian McCarthy, but showed a little bit too much. And Waterford regained the possession. Down towards Brian O'Sullivan. Stepping away from the challenge, he hits it well, but it's nowhere near the goalpost, I'm afraid. It's the first wide of the match for Waterford.
I see Cian McCarthy at right half forward, Ty DeBurka is at left half back, as you said, and Conor Lahan has gone into centre forward, and Pat Horgan seems to be drifting out the field in open play. He's gone back into the corner now, coming back in and leaving Noel Connors, who's switched corners. So it's all changes, as we suppose we've become used to over the last number of years.
Puck out from Anthony Nash, coming through the centre is Aidan Walsh, heading towards the 20. He's having a shot, brilliantly blocked down. Noel Connors is there to retrieve the situation. Good defending by a good ball down the middle of the field. Brian O'Sullivan chasing after this. Staying with him is Shane O'Neill. O'Sullivan trying to get it into the left paw. There's a little knee there, a little push, with the result that Waterford get the free. The long whistle there from Brian Gavin. But Aidan Walsh had a wonderful opportunity, really, hadn't he?
He had indeed, Marty. He broke through. Normally you might expect him just to flick it over the bar, but you watch here, broke onto the ball and left hand on top. Obviously a serious athlete. He could have tapped it over the bar, but he went for the goal, and a good block there, and Noel Connors tidied it up. Good block by Liam Lawler, who's back at full back, and you know when he's playing full back for Waterford, he doesn't leave that position.
Tariq Mahoney. You can see the angle, see the shot as well, and it's pretty good. It's his second point, and Waterford lead by 1.
Yeah, Martin, note as well, Jake Dillon gone to centre half forward and Tariq Mahoney got into the corner. Probably wasn't expecting that, so an awful lot changed on both teams.
Loose ball, latched onto by Daniel Carney. He had a wonderful season last year. Here comes the fairly hefty shoulder. Could have been a frontal charge, but it comes instead to Seamus Harnedy. He had a wonderful 2013. Stephen O'Keefe judged it well, sends it down that far over wing. Knocked away by Lorcan McLaughlin. Hard work, Austin Gleeson, or Ozzy as they call him down in Waterford. And he wins a free, at least a sideline ball. Ryan Gavin seems to have communication problems. He's looking at the sideline to Alan Kelly for an information update. James Owens is the linesman over the far side, and the referee. Indeed, that information flow has resulted in Brian Gavin calling over Kevin Moran for a private word.
That's going back, Marty, to the slight delayed tackle there on the sideline. Daniel Carney flicked on the ball and Kevin Moran kept coming. So frontal charge, I just said in your commentary, and that's a yellow card for Kevin Moran. A soft one to give away very early in the game. Yeah.
That means Kevin Moran has to mind himself for the remaining 65 minutes. Liam Lawler, good to see him back in the blue and white of Waterford. He's been out for a while. Daniel Carney to give it quickly. Gives a nice chip back to Mark Ellis, who in turn gives it to Shane O'Neill. Perhaps a little bit too lax. Good pressure by Waterford. Colin Dunford lays it off as Brian O'Sullivan. He tried from here before and failed, but this time there is absolutely no doubt. Credit the work rate of the Waterford forwards, and also credit the finish by Brian O'Sullivan. A lot of messing by Cork, however.
Absolutely, but Marty, that's a couple of very good blocks from the Waterford forwards, working very, very hard. And Colin Dunford there, a great block down and a great score with Brian O'Sullivan, and he's been on the ball quite a bit.
Here comes Jake Dillon from out in the middle of the field. The umpire is waving his arms. Second wide of the match for Waterford. There's confirmation for Kevin Moore. And this was not really shoulder to shoulder. It was a frontal charge on Daniel Carney, which we mentioned earlier. And good refereeing and good work by the linesman as well.
Yeah, it was called back by the linesman, but there wasn't enough in it when we saw it again there.
Kevin Moore in the thick of the action there. This is going to be a sideline ball for Waterford.
I'm very impressed by the movement of the Waterford forwards, Marty, so far. I said Pádraig Mahoney is now at right half forward. You have Jake Dillon at centre, Austin Gleeson on the other wing, and Brian Sullivan is switching inside, as is Colin Dunford. So they're trying to confuse the Cork backline by moving all over the place.
Pádraig de Burke's line ball ends up with another sideline ball.
And maybe a leaf out of Clare's book last year. It looks very similar to the way that Clare played last year with their forward line. They're rotating all the time. They're confusing the Cork defence. They're not sure who they're picking up, what position, and it's very hard to defend against them. And certainly seem to have the homework done. And great start by Waterford, you have to say.
Indeed, as you were saying, they were just had a picture of Derek McGrath and Dan Shannon advising them to keep moving around and changing as you were describing the tactic. That ball is cleared down the field by Christopher Joyce. We were used to seeing him playing at centre-back last year, but he's moved over to right half. And there is a policy that you would at least suspect that the building up of the Cork physique, when you look at Damien Cahalane at full-back, Mark Ellis at centre-back, Aidan Walsh at full. Cork were very light last year.
They were indeed, and criticised, for maybe Clare running through, scoring 5 goals in the replay. And, it's early days yet, but they have certainly made those changes and they're hoping they'll work today. Christopher
Joyce sending it down for his Conor Lahan. Now the game being played along that sideline. Lovely stick work and scale by Lahan. He's looking at the goalpost. He's having a go, but it's tailing to the left and wide, and that's Cork's first wide of this Munster Championship quarter-final.
Yeah, brilliant piece of skill, Marty, out on the sideline there, but I think Cian McCarthy had moved inside. He should have just flicked on a little hand pass, and McCarthy was straight through, would have had an easy score.
Took out from Stephen O'Keefe. Brian O'Sullivan is there trying to gather it. Gathered instead by Eddie Barrett. Sending this all the way, dropping over the crossbar. Anthony Nash could do nothing about it as Jamie Nagle found the range, the accuracy. The cocktail was perfect here. The layback was good, and look at Nagle floating it high over Nash's crossbar.
Absolutely, and Jamie Nagle, a lovely hurler, has played midfield and wing back over the last number of years for Waterford, and that's a fantastic score. And Waterford all over Cork at the moment.
Austin Gleeson, centre back on the Waterford team that won the All-Ireland minor title last year, now playing at left half forward, just 19 years of age. Ball is sent in by the point scorer, Jamie Nagle. Waterford playing with a degree of confidence. This is sent in by Colin Dunford. Lorcan McLaughlin is hovering. This is McLaughlin, 2 Kinturk boys there. Anthony Nash on the goal line. McLaughlin deals with it adequately, sends it down towards Cian McCarthy. Ball is still in play, if only just, as Michael Brick Walsh goes back to gather it. Quick hands for his Pádraig de Burke, and from out there failed. That's a fantastic score. He's a championship debutant, named at right corner back, playing at left half back, and that is a smashing point.
Brilliant score. Michael Walsh again, lovely hand pass up the wing, and that's both wing backs now have scored. Brilliant point by Pádraig de Burke in his first championship game for Waterford.
Derek McGrath, in a news interview during the week, said that if Waterford were good enough, young enough, they would be given a chance. And there's so many of this team who've won Harty Cup and All-Ireland Colleges medals, and they're here 19, 20. Of course, Waterford won the minor All-Ireland last year. So Derek McGrath being quite brave. It's an early start, it's only 10 minutes, but they've started well.
They started really well. Players playing with plenty of confidence, and Derek McGrath has worked with a lot of these lads in De La Salle and Waterford College. Very well regarded coach. But Marty, I'm laughing at Dan Shanahan. He might as well be playing. He's playing every ball like he was out on the pitch, and very animated on the sideline. Great to see. It's great to see that passion.
Patrick Horgan, All-Star, 2013, taking the fray. This one is swinging to the right and wide. Patrick Horgan is disappointed. His reaction off camera signalled that he was disappointed. He miscued it slightly. Took out from Stephen O'Keefe, comes into the middle of the field where Michael Brick-Walsh, he's wearing number 6. He's playing in midfield with Kevin Moore playing at centre back. Look at these scoring chances. 5 out of 8 for Waterford, just 1 out of 5 for Cork. And that is a sideline ball for Waterford. Noel Connors is anxious to take it quickly. Waterford minor back in 2008. Jimmy Barry Murphy must be just a little bit concerned. It's a slow start by the Rebels. Yeah, what I'd see is the biggest difference so far is Waterford seem to be very sure of their role. Every player seems to know where he's going, what he's doing, whereas the Cork lads are drifting out, but they're not fully. Pat Horgan's trying to come to wing forward. Pat Cronin's going to midfield. Daniel Carney's dropping back, but it's just not working out. There's no great. Here's Ed Mulch onto the ball again, but don't seem to be very sure of what tactic they're trying to play. He gives it for Patrick Horgan, who in turn tried to give it back to Walsh. Big, strong, powerful man. All-star footballer in the past. Still Aidan Walsh trying to get a ball in. Stephen O'Keefe comes off his goal line. Lays it off quickly, and Waterford deal with it. Composed. Kevin Moore. Low ball. Farrell's Austin Gleeson. No driving it foolishly down the field. This is good play by the Dacian. Gleeson's ball is dropping in. It should be easily dealt with by Anthony Nash, who sends it out for his fullback, Damien Cahalane. In turn, here's it for Joyce. Mark Ellis. Larkin McLaughlin. Played midfield last year. That's exactly where he is right now. Down for his Alan Cadigan. Pulls the brakes. Turns. The shooting isn't bad at all. They rates him very highly on the banks of the Lee. A young, special talent. The name is Cadigan. We know it well. He's from Douglas. He did really well here. Yeah, it was a great score. Marty turned back on his left side. Waterford, some great play that thing, but Austin Gleeson, maybe first game showing his inexperience, a very speculative shot. We've seen a couple of them so far, and Cork worked it up the field very well, and a great score by Cadigan. Long took out again from Stephen O'Keefe, gathered by Larkin McLaughlin. Pat Cronin wanted a hand pass, but McLaughlin went for a diagonal ball over towards Keane McCarthy. Backling hard is Clyde de Burka. One hard to couple All Irelands with Dungarvan from Cashmore, just 19 years of age. First year student at UCC. Good work by Shane O'Neill, but the pass goes astray. Ryan O'Sullivan is working hard. Still O'Sullivan lays it off, but Larkin McLaughlin is here as passes go astray in both teams at the moment. Christopher Joyce. And the Piercing band goes long. Down towards another Northsider, Patrick Horgan. Linesman indicates that it is a Waterford ball. Say, Michael, I'm quite impressed with Waterford. They're playing the All-Ireland finalists from last year, but they found their rhythm early. They have indeed, Marty, but I think there's a nice bit of a breeze out there as well. It's going to be difficult enough to score against it. You'd have to say maybe Larkin McLaughlin, the only one really of the Cork team. He's settled very, very well. He's playing very well at half-back, but outside of that, a lot of the rest of them, just a bit rusty, it looks like. Corey Mahoney robbing Larkin McLaughlin there. Colin Dunford is fouled. There's a little bit of after from Mark Ellis off camera, but Colin Dunford did well. Coming across, Jake Dillon was just giving him a little pat on the back. This is Dunford going down the ball. There was a little bit of a knee there in the back, and that's why Brian Gavin gave the free. Yeah, definitely a free, and we always say it, coaching, go down over the ball, you get the nudge in the back, and that's what happened there. Corey Mahoney going to take the free, but this is Stephen McDonald that seems to be getting running repairs on the helmet. Stephen, of course, from Glen Rovers, just 25 years of age since January. Cork minor captain back in 2007. Well, his first year in charge with this man, Derek McGrath. He masterminded De La Salle, a wonderful school in the city of Waterford, to 2 Harty and 2 All-Ireland colleges. Brother-in-law as well of John Milan. He was on the Waterford minor team that won Munster in 1992. He was centre and played indeed with the quality hurlers that we know so well, like Paul Flynn and Tom Feeney. There's one of the legends of Waterford hurling, Ken McGrath. So happy indeed to see him here. He's had ill health recently, and it's great that one of Waterford's best is here at the game. Centre half forward Cork Mahoney takes the free and gets his point for his third of the game.
Yeah, Marty, I'd echo that about Ken McGrath. You know, he had a heart scare and had surgery, and he was in hospital in Dublin, so great to see him back in a big match coming up at the end of June, a big benefit match for them. There's loads of details on Waterford GA website, so wish everyone the best luck with that match.
Oh, fabulous catch. That's straight from the puck out from Anthony Nash, and it's Harnedy, one of 2 All-Stars in the full forward line. He worked hard, magnificent catch, took it on the run. Look at this, excellent. We expect it from Aidan Walsh in football or hurling. We get it from Harnedy as well. 3 points between the teams. Cleverly knocked down past Austin Gleeson by corner forward Jake Dillon, but it tails to the right. But good intelligent play by Jake Dillon. Spotted that Gleeson was available and batted it down for him.
Yeah, it was a half chance again, but Harnedy out to centre forward where he caught that last ball. I'd say a bit frustrated inside because last year he was excellent on the wing. So he's gone out centre forward and Conor Lahan gone in full. Michael
Brick Walsh didn't win 8 senior football championships with Stradbally for nothing. Jake Dillon thought about trying getting inside the cover, but Dillon is playing really well in the corner.
Yeah, great intelligent ball there by Kevin Moore inside, and Jake Dillon was centre forward for the first 15 minutes, just gone into full forward line, and beautiful score. Lovely low ball though into space, and looked great pick up and over the bar. He's a very, very good forward and great score.
Jake Dillon is a man in form. He's had it for quite a while. Ran at a match in the Fitzgibbon Cup final with WIT when they won that dramatic style, and indeed were very impressive winners. This is a free for Waterford. Free on Eddie Barrett. This is just inside their own 65-metre line. Cork Mahoney did it a few metres to his left. That was the first score of the game. He's a little bit further out this time. He's going to give it a lash. It's looking good, and it's straight over the bar. 4 out of 4 for Cork. Free taking impeccable so far.
Yeah, excellent, and you know those distances lads are doing it at their ease now. The slitter's a lot lighter than it used to be, but you know it's great to see lovely technique and a great strike. And 4 out of 4 is just a great start by Cork Mahoney.
Loose ball available. Pat Cronin. Good block down again. And he's opposite number 12, Austin Gleeson. And again, you can see why he was the All-Ireland minor captain at centre back last year. And Gleeson gives it everything. But 10 out of 10 to Austin Gleeson. He's a very versatile young player. And for a championship debutant, he's taking on the Cork captain not once, but twice.
But Marty, watch his eyes. He never takes his eye off the ball. Both times, 2 great block downs. And that's been a feature of the game so far, the blocking of the Waterford forwards. But again, slight inexperience. He should have played that ball inside to the full forward line, and that's a couple of poor wides he's had.
Waterford player down injured.
I think it's Eddie Barrett.
One and Eddie Barrett between them. Referee Brian Gavin allowing the medical team to come on. I think it was a collision. Craig de Burka is okay. He's picked himself up. Let's just see what happened here. Yes, there was a clash there, and Eddie Barrett playing his first championship match in the province of Munster, coming out the worst of wear. 3rd year in the Waterford panel. He came on as a sub last year against Westmeath, and very consistent. His clubmate, of course, Kevin Moran, was originally selected beside him, but in that tactical switch, it's Michael Brick Walsh from Stradbally that's with him at midfield, and Kevin Moran is at centre back.
Yeah, lucky Waterford to have players like Michael Walsh and Kevin Moran are so versatile. But as I say, Kevin Moran very athletic, and that's why he's there. He's covering left and right.
It's pouring rain on the road down from Dublin earlier today, but thankfully it's brightening up. We don't have sunshine, but it is almost ideal weather for the game of hurling. Just that breeze favouring Waterford in this first half. Keane McCarthy is the centre half forward. Daniel Carney is the man on the ground. Eddie Barrett is fully recovered. Bit of a melee. And the ball breaks free. Send it down towards the corners. Working hard is Stephen McDonald with Colin Dumford. Jake Dillon somehow manages to get it back for Pádraig Mahoney. Steps by the first challenge and the second and the third. Pass into the centre towards Gleeson. Good work by Cork on this occasion. Daniel Carney lays it off, whereas Aidan Walsh. Michael Brick Walsh comes in to challenge. Good ball down towards Patrick Horgan. O'Connors is there, rock solid. Passage county champions. They came with a late rally in the county final, you may recall, last October-November. That's a good ball over for Brian O'Sullivan. Michael Dignan pointed this out earlier. It's like Clare in the sense that Waterford players are moving around. Brian O'Sullivan 1 minute top of the right, next minute left half forward. Here's Colin Dumford. Referee blows the whistle.
I think Eddie Barrett in big trouble, Marty, there, and he was the wrong man in the wrong place. He didn't want the ball because since he got up from that injury, he's down again now, and I think he fell very awkward when he hit the ground, and he's obviously in trouble, so he's going to be replaced.
Richie Foley is being introduced, and Richie has been out injured. It's one of the long list, but Derek McGrath has endured over the winter and spring. People like the Fives brothers, Mar Shanahan also missing, and good to see Richie Foley in the championship action.
Very good hurler, Marty. Super sub to have come in, and unfortunate for Eddie Barrett, he came down very heavily, as I said, in that collision, and he's lasted 22 minutes.
So change for Derek McGrath's team. Disappointment for Eddie Barrett, but at least Derek McGrath has Richie Foley to come in. Now sideline ball. Very carefully placed.
Marty, I noticed in the warm-up Stephen Malumphey, who's not named on the squad today, but he did the full warm-up, and I'm just wondering, is there a jersey maybe a 27 or 8, or did they make a change that we don't know about? He certainly took part in the warm-up.
Austin Gleeson puts it in, but it's gone to the left and wide, and a bit optimistic considering it's the confidence of the young fella which we have to admire, but it's a little bit of inexperience.
Yeah, he's 19, he's a back, but it's the confidence. He's had 2 shots maybe he shouldn't have had, and a line ball there wide, but you have to, the confidence, he's all the ability in the world, and he's actually playing very, very well in general play, but he just wants to watch that and play the ball, keep the ball in play.
Puck out from Anthony Nash is aimed at Seamus Harnedy. Waterford, however, regained the possession. Damien Nagle sent it down towards the corner where Jake Dillon is operating, won on this occasion by Damien Cahalan. This is football with Castlehaven, is hurling with St Finbars. Down for again, the ball breaks free. Good work here by Tadhg de Burka. Sending it over towards the corner. First rule of any defender at back is to get to the ball first. Shane O'Neill goes long, trying to flick it forward. Good work here on this occasion by Barry Coughlin, who's operating a right corner back. 2 and 7 have switched tactically in Waterford camp. This is Barry Coughlin from Ballygunner, just 22 years of age. Sending it long, but there's nobody home from a Waterford perspective. The raise for Cork. Christopher Joyce takes the shoulder from Jake Dillon, survives that and goes long. Should be a defender's ball. Liam Lawler, master of all, he surveys in the opening 23 minutes. Seamus Harnedy, who started full forward, has been moved often and moved to centre forward. Yeah, the 6 Waterford backs all looking very comfortable, Marty, you'd have to say. This Cork forward line, massive potential within the forward line, but Waterford being led brilliantly by Liam Lawler and Kevin Moran up the centre, but and Noel Connors having a super game on Pat Horgan so far, and they're at their ease. Aidan Walsh, what a wonderful sideline cut. Twice an all-star footballer in 2010 and 2012. It's wonderful to see such a talented player, dual star on the banks of the Lee, cutting a ball in like that. Puck out is given straight for his Tadhg de Burka. Goes long. Jake Dillon unable to reach it. Gathering it is Damien Cahalan. Under pressure is Daniel Carney. Puts the boss of the hurley on the schnutter. Referee blows the whistle, and he's given the free against Waterford. Richie Foley is annoyed with it, and now he's indicated it's the other way. I was wondering.
Yeah, indicated the wrong way to start.
Tussle here, as you can see, and Richie Foley couldn't believe, but in fairness to the referee, he just signalled the wrong way. So it is a Waterford free.
in fairness, it didn't look to be much of a free either way.
No.
But back to that line ball, Marty, from Aidan Walsh. The angle was very, very tight, just outside the 21, and he put it 30-40 yards over the bar. Great piece of skill.
Pádraig Mahoney. Impeccable so far. This is a little bit more difficult. Miss for Pádraig Mahoney, 6th wide of the game for Waterford.
I think Cork will be happy enough, Marty. They haven't started to play. They're very rusty, looking not moving well, but they're only 4 points down, and they're going to be the happier of the two teams. I think Waterford should have a few more points on the board.
Michael Brick Walsh. Hand passing it into the centre. Here comes Richie Foley. Nice little stick work, perhaps doing a little bit too fancy. It's a Cork man's ball. That was Aidan Walsh. Handing it back for his Larkin McLaughlin. 3 Kentuckmen on this Cork team this championship day. In the centre of Pádraig Mahoney. Mahoney under pressure. Hit a mighty ball. Really good score. And his first from play. What about this?
Yeah, that's a great score, and Pádraig Mahoney had Austin Gleeson outside him. He chose not to use him, and Tadhg de Burke again there involved at left half back. He's having a brilliant game in his first start for Waterford in the championship.
Puck out from Anthony Nash. Linesman Alan Kelly from Galway indicates that it is a Cork ball. Waterford management were a little bit animated there. Derek McGrath, Dan Shannon. Sideline ball given for his Pat Cronin. Sends one in around the house. Dangerous enough ball. Oh, well, look at that. This is a championship debutant. But then he shot his block down. Shot a chance of a goal. Point taken. Good work by Alan Cadigan. But Barry Coughlin had done all the hard work. It was the simple thing to deliver. Look at that for a catch. Should have driven it down the field, but instead found that his shot was blocked. In comes Alan Cadigan. Good point.
Yeah, great block down by Seamus Harnedy, and it really goal was on there, but Barry, we'll get back to that in a second. Here's Jamie Nagle now with another long range effort.
He's already scored once. He's going for a point if or a goal. Jamie Nagle, he's on fire at right half back.
It just shows you, Marty, that there is a strong wind, but Jamie Nagle is a super striker of the ball, and that's gone way over the bar. And Cork with a great chance of a goal. Barry Coughlin, as you said, great catch, but turned back in, and that's inexperience at this level. You have less time on the ball, you've only that split second. At club level you get away with that, but not here.
Puck out again. Comes down towards Kevin Warren here. A little push in the back from Daniel Carney. The centre is Mark Ellis. Distributing the ball well, sending it over to the far over side. Alan Cadigan is there. No advantage given. Alan is a little bit frustrated, verbalising his thoughts to the referee.
Yeah, wrong. You know, Cadigan again in front, and just see the hand on the back there, and Barry Coughlin is on yellow, isn't he? Earlier on, I think did he get a yellow earlier?
Yeah, Kevin Moore is
Kevin
on
Moore
yellow.
got it. Yeah. The two of them left-handed was Kevin Moore. You have to say Alan Cadigan showing very well for the ball. You know, he's very sharp and out in front.
He had a very good league, Michael, and I'm not a bit surprised that he's now made the championship team for Cork. As Patrick Horgan takes the fray, raises his second white flag of the afternoon. Jimmy should be a little bit happier now, just 4 points between the teams, but still Cork not finding their rhythm at all. Ball is sent back towards Jamie Cahalan. Turns around to his right. Pat Cronin is coming in for the high dropping ball, gets that fingertips to it, and that is a sideline ball for Waterford.
Yeah, this is like one that Austin Gleeson would fancy, I'd say. It's 45 metres out and nice angle, and
he's very careful about placing the sliotar on the grass. Gets a little lump underneath it. Tried it already. Let's see what he does here. Oh, he cuts it in magnificently. Austin Gleeson, Mount Sion, centre back last year. He can play anywhere, they tell me, down on Waterford. He's selected for his very first championship match at wing forward, and this is what he produces.
Yeah, and he could have 3 or 4 points on the board, Marty. He has unbelievable skill. He's a big man, great athlete. He's working very hard, and that'll really help his. Well, I don't think he needs any help with his confidence. He's lots of confidence, and see him gone back in full forward now. This is what's intriguing me here is the constant changing of positions by the Waterford forwards.
Tadhg de Burka going to take this sideline cut. Brian O'Sullivan switching from corner to wing. It's going on since about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And here's a chance for Colin Dunford, willing to take on the Cork. Used the short grip. He knew that Stephen McDonald was going to hook him, but unfortunately he miscued the shot. But again, when you look at Austin Gleeson, you look at Colin Dunford, you look at Tadhg de Burka, they're a confident bunch of players, aren't they?
They are, Martin. They've all settled very quickly. I just thought there Richie Foley had made a great run down the middle, and if he just popped a little pass, he could have been gone straight through on goal. And that's one little thing that's catching. Maybe their last option, they're shooting on sight, and it's cost them 4 or 5 very poor wides. With all the possession they've had, they should be further ahead.
And Aussie, or Austin Gleeson, going to take this sideline cut again. Didn't quite connect this time. Cork defence come away with it. This is Mark Ellis. It's Hurley surely being held back by Shane Walsh. It's a free for Cork, which Anthony Nash looks like to be the man that's selected to take it.
Yeah, and he's done quite well, Marty. I think too, Mark Ellis, his first game in the championship, he's been solid at centre back so far for Cork.
"29-year-old Anthony Nash, teacher in Mitchelstown CBS, taking the fray. Gains a couple of metres, as he does with anything that's near the opponent's goalposts. Good work here by Jamie Nagle. Hand passes it back, just leaving it behind him momentarily is Noel Connors. Great pressure by Cork. Connors used the hand pass. I like the way Waterford don't use the ball foolishly. They're trying to work themselves out of trouble. Long ball from Porrick-Mahony didn't quite work out. Coming forward is Shane O'Neill. He lays it back for Christopher Joyce and makes a little bit of room for himself. Joyce gives it into the centre. Daniel Carney wasn't quite expecting it and comes away with it. Sends it in towards the corner. First to react on this occasion is Barry Coughlin. Gives it first Brian O'Sullivan. Did well to keep it in. Little chink to the left. Nice little sidestep. And away goes O'Sullivan. Slipped it. Balanced on the boss of the hurley. Tripped inside the 45-metre line. And that's a free for Waterford.
Yeah, that was a bad free for Shane O'Neill to give away. There was no danger. He had no support. And he just pulled his left arm there. There was 2 to 3. Another Cork player closing in as well. And there was no danger. And Shane O'Neill will be disappointed giving away that free.
Going across to take it is Porrick-Mahony. See, he's just inside the Cork line here, well within his range.
Yeah, Martin, you have to say the Waterford backs are playing very, very well. Like you mentioned Tadhg de Burka, but you have to say Barry Coughlin as well for a debutant. He's showing well, and none of the Cork forwards are on top of their men. And that's it's a serious Cork forward line on paper, but they're not producing it so far.
There's a yellow card, and it's a yellow card for Stephen McDonald. Don't really know why that was given. I didn't spot what went on, but obviously the referee, Brian Gavin, went in, had a consultation, and then showed the yellow card. Meanwhile, Porrick-Mahony takes the free and puts it over the bar. 5 out of 6 frees, bang on target for Porrick-Mahony. 6 points between the teams. 3 minutes of additional time at least. Richie Foley sends it long again. Steve McDonald underneath it. Damien Cahalane comes across. McDonald is there to sweep up under a little bit of pressure from Colin Dunford. Christopher Joyce swarmed by 3 Waterford players. And Christopher Joyce says he couldn't do nothing about it, and he really couldn't, but credit the Waterford pressure.
Yeah, that's been the feature of the first half for me. The tackling, blocking, hooking of the Waterford forwards has been exceptional, and their backs have been all over the Cork forwards as well. At the Cork half forward line, Conor Lahan, Cian McCarthy, Pat Cronin, they didn't even have a shot on goal between the 3 of them yet, and they haven't scored, and Waterford at this stage of the game all over them.
Austin Gleeson tried from here before. He's doing it again. Again, the ball is wide. You can't really criticise him, because that cycling ball from this side, from our side of the field, was just beautiful. This is what happened in terms of the yellow card, Michael.
Oh, yeah. Was off the ball, dragged him down. A great call by communication between the umpires and the referee.
Second time that has happened. Credit to the refereeing team here from Offaly. Ball comes down towards Dunford. He's going for it. He gives it everything. Again, just a little bit of naivety, a little bit of an inexperience. It's just shouted, like you could hear it up here, playing around a little bit.
Well, you see it there, Marty, nine wides, and at least 6 or 7 of them had been the wrong option. You know, there wasn't on, they were at best, 30-70 chance, and they shouldn't have gone for them. And that could come back and punish them. Cork have only had 2 wides, but that's I think a feature of they haven't been in the game.
Breaking ball favouring Waterford on this occasion. This is Jamie Nagle sending it down the middle. Clash of the Ash results in one hurley being broken. Austin Gleeson goes for his second point. It's an easy ball though for Anthony Nash. Kenturkman to Kenturkman. Lorcan McLaughlin goes for a long ball. Oh, well played. Alan Callaghan came in search of it. Great defending by Waterford. Now was he fouled? Brian Gavin has given a free. Waterford defenders are really annoyed with the decision. But Alan Callaghan is certainly a thorn in the Waterford defence. He's first to the ball. His pace, his skill is really impressive. Yeah,
he's the one caught forward posing a threat, and now I'm surprised Anthony Nash is not coming up the field to take this. He's out as far as the 21, but he hasn't been. Pat Horgan is going to have a go at it.
There was a debate. I was just looking down the sideline. There was a little bit of a debate along the sideline. Would they bring out Anthony Nash? Patrick Horgan is looking down, but it looks like Patrick Horgan is the one that's going to take it, and they are absolutely lining the goals. At the moment, there's only 4, 5, there's 10 players on the goal line. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Waterford players out the field. So there has to be 10 on the goal line.
I feel you can have too many that nobody takes responsibility sometimes, but we're interested now to see.
They know Horgan is going for goal, and he taps it over the bar. After all of that, perhaps intimidated by the fact that there were so many Dacia men along the sideline.
Yeah, but I thought Barry Coughlin came across. Watch Alan Callaghan, as you said, been a thorn in the side. There's Kevin Moore, there's the flick, and he seemed to get the ball. He was across the body, but the ball did come out of the tackle. So, I think maybe a harsh enough free.
Long ball. Psychological moment is just before the break. That half-time whistle is on its way, but can Waterford get another score before that happens? Fantastic hurling by Waterford. And, certainly you'd have to be impressed by this first half performance by a team that was relegated from Division 1A to Division 1B. And the crowd of about 10,000, a lot of them indeed Cork supporters, but a lot of them from Waterford as well, as you can imagine, as Austin Gleeson got his second point of the game on the stroke of half-time. Waterford, very impressive. They've had wind advantage. What can they do in the second half? Half-time score here in Thurles. Waterford 13 points, Cork 7. We get the views of Cyril Farrell, Liam Sheedy and Gerald Lamb after the break.
Munster are through to a 5th straight league final as they bid to become the first team to retain the trophy.
Mulligan breaks the tackle. Ian Mulligan for the line. Leinster over.
Standing in their way are informed Glasgow, looking for a 10th win in a row. Can O'Driscoll and Cullen get the ultimate send-off, or will the Scots spoil their party? The Rabo Direct Pro 12 final, Saturday at 5:30 on RTE2 and RTE2 HD.
Based on a true story, Jimmy's Hall is powerful and compelling.
It's a space where we laugh and dance. Don't be frightened.
There is something evil hatching in that hall.
From the creators of The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
You're under arrest!
We need to live as free human beings.
Jimmy's Hall.
So what's this UHD? Is there a MeHD? And how smart is this telly? Are we talking masters? Can it read my mind? Has it read my mind?
Want to know more about the world's first cinematically curved UHD TV from Samsung? At Harvey Norman, we'll show you how. Call in store or see harveynorman.ie/Samsung AV.
Whoa! My car! Our car?
Oh, my body-coloured bumper.
Shouldn't he be getting out?
I waited 6 weeks for that paint.
Mark. Oh. Mark, he's going! He's going! Oh, he's gone.
Where's your man gone?
The AXA red line, look.
AXA red line, boom!
At AXA, we don't think you should lose your no-claims discount if hit by an uninsured driver. So our claim without blame benefit means that you won't. Call, visit or click. AXA, redefining standards.
Improve your summer. Buy a promotional can of Shaw for your chance to win a pair of VIP festival tickets every day.
Sometimes you need to dig deep.
Come on, everything!
During hard exercise, breakdown happens deep inside your muscle fibres. Maxi Nutrition helps provide your muscles with the proteins they need to recover, helping make you stronger and perform better. Maxi Nutrition, you stronger.
Great Tastes of America is back at McDonald's. 5 weeks, 5 burgers, 5 tastes. This week, get a taste of New York with the New York Classic. Here for 1 week only.
We are here at Semple Stadium in Thurles and we are at half-time in this Munster hurling quarter-final between Cork and Waterford. And Waterford, of course, leading Cork by 13 points to 7. Now, let me just remind you, by the way, that there's another chance for you to enter our big Sunday game competition. That's after the hurling action. Sarah Farr, Liam Sheedy, Gerlach Nan here with me in studio. Sarah, people during the week were wondering what kind of a fist Waterford were going to make of this challenge here today. A lot of people thinking that it wouldn't go well for them. Now we know.
Yeah, they're playing lovely stuff. They're dictating the game. First of all, they got their team right. Kevin Moran's got back in centre back. Michael Brickaway has gone midfield. Barry Coughlin's gone back in the corner. Ty de Burka. These are all new lads come out wing back. And up front, the movement of the forwards. They're playing possession hurling, a lot like Clare played, finding with the man, popping the scores from outside. A few times they could have got maybe inside for goals, but didn't even try that. And you know, the new fellas, at least since this World Cup, they're all playing very well. But like Pádraig Manny, who had a fantastic Fitzgibbon for Waterford, he's playing, got all the scores from, say, he hasn't missed a free, but from play, he's centre forward, he's also playing corner. Jake Dillon is moving in and out, and Austin Gleeson. They have them all over the place, like, and they're completely on top. Now, if they get a goal, like, they could drive on. But Cork, even though they're not playing well, they're just hanging in. There is a breeze there. But like, even Cork were being caught for fast puck outs. Just don't see what's happening. Waterford dictating the pace. They'll be very happy at half time. Cork are only barely hanging in. They need a goal to come back into it. But it's hard to see where it's going to come out of, because they're not winning their real dues. The half forward of Cork have been, haven't been in it at all. Han, Keane McCarthy or Cronin. They've been out hurled completely. Yeah. So Waterford will be very happy at half time.
Waterford could be further ahead, Liam, if they had taken some of those chances that they actually missed. But nonetheless, looking at the positive side of it, I mean, there were scores coming from all over the play for them.
Yeah, they've done very well. I mean, they've created 25 scoring chances in that first half. They've converted 13 points. They got some great scores. And like Cork have only had 11. I mean, Cork, Shane O'Neill, routine clearance, stood to clear. All of a sudden, the ball breaks out to Brian O'Sullivan. There's a bit to do here. But Brian O'Sullivan, he's there since 2010, and that was a fantastic score. And that's been a pattern of play. But, to be honest with you, Jimmy Barry's team hasn't really shown up in this first half. I'm not sure. Like, they look like they're here for a league encounter. It really is very, very lacklustre on their behalf. Here's Jamie Nagle. I mean, as Cyril said, they coughed up possession very, very easily. They've let the Waterford guys go first to the ball. And like, in fairness, there's Ty de Burka. There's the guy half-back that finds himself with no Cork player within 25 yards of him, and he bangs the ball over the bar. And, on numerous occasions, look at this, being able to play a low ball in front, a dream ball for Jake Dillon. And, we've seen it very similar to some of the scores he got in the Fitzgibbon Cup final. When he comes onto that right-hand side, he's very, very good. You know, again, like look at all the space they're leaving Pádraig Mahy in here. You know, again, a simple routine point, and on top of that, they conceded 5 frees where he put the ball over the bar as well. I mean, to be honest, like Cork have not. I'm surprised with Jamie Barry Murphy that he hasn't. Like some of that Cork forward line, in my view, should have paid the price of walking out to the sideline. It was been very, very lacklustre. Alan Cadigan and Lorcan McLaughlin are the only 2 players that you could say have played for Cork in that first half. It's very, very low.
The big surprise here, Michael, is that Cork played Clare 5 times last year, and this style. Today you would think that Cork were encountering this style for the very first time.
Yes.
You know, Waterford, they're withdrawing that half forward line back into midfield. They're totally swamping that area between the 2 45s, and they're winning every ball in it. Now, when they're laying off the ball, then they're coming to one side and they're playing diagonal ball across the field, creating big open spaces. And Cork seem to have no leadership. That is the whole thing. Like Shane O'Neill, he's having a nightmare of a game. You rely on him and being one of the leaders. You rely on Pat Cronin to win some of the puck outs. Imagine a Cork team only winning 6 of 19 puck outs in the first half. Yeah. That tells its own story. Now, Waterford then are way more intelligent. They have won 5 of their 8 of their own puck outs because they're using that short, fast puck out. So Cork are being totally and utterly tactically. They're being annihilated tactically, but of course, as the 2 lads said, it's their lack of aggression. You know, it's totally excuse me hurling. That's what, you know, no bit of aggression, no fight for the ball, playing as individuals. Whereas Waterford know what they're doing. They're playing as a team. They're very well coached. Everybody knows their role, and that's why they're dominating the first half.
They are, and on top of that, Cyril, if Pat Spillane was still here with us, he'd be talking about intensity.
Yeah.
The intensity of the game. And certainly the tenacity of Waterford.
And he'd be talking about choke tackles. Like, you'd have to say, Waterford get in, look at here, blocked, that ball should have been clear. Now, this ball's going to wind up over the bar. You still had a bit to do around Sullivan here, but like, it was the tenacity of the Waterford play. They've done this on numerous occasions. They've turned over ball, which is very unusual. Cork don't seem to be up to the pace of the ball. Here again, now, just a little in around the tackle. Here's Pat Cronin, blocked down by Gleeson. And they're going to be blocked again by Gleeson, who kept his eye completely on the ball the whole time. Like, you know, that's great stuff. Like, that gives a young lad confidence. Now, the second time you'd think he was going to sold the dummy here, but he knows that Paz is going to come around his left side, blocks it again. This is Waterford all day. Now, here's coming out, should have been cleared, lovely, but here again, I think it's going out over the sideline here. Like, it's hustle, bustle, away you go. Out he goes over the line. That's Christopher Joyce. So, like, you know, Waterford seem to be up for the game. It's a championship game, but Waterford seem to be at the pace where Cork don't. Now, Cork need at least a goal or 2 to come back into the game.
You think they would? OK, we'll be back with the second half of Cork versus Waterford after this break.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
I'm not understanding.
When you can't get enough, Grey's is just what the doctor ordered.
What? Shut up.
Grey's Anatomy, Tuesday at 9 on RTE2 and RTE2 HD. Now you can get the best value bundle ever, only from Aircom, with super fast fibre broadband. Plus your calls from home. And we've added mobile. All in one bundle for one incredible price of just €30 a month. Super fast fibre broadband, home phone and mobile. Sign up and we'll even give you a free smartphone. Call 1-800-503-303.
Great Tastes of America is back at McDonald's. 5 weeks, 5 burgers, 5 tastes. This week, get a taste of New York with the New York Classic. Here for 1 week only.
We like these nappies. And we like these nappies. These ones have won an award.
I like these.
Oh, it's good, but it's not quite curling.
Carling. Refreshingly perfect.
Here in Semple Stadium, it's half-time in this Munster hurling quarter-final. Waterford leading Cork by 13 points to 7. A couple of updates for you, by the way, in the Connacht Football Championship. The latest from Ruislip is Galway 3-17, London 7 points. That's the latest score from there. A result, however, in the hurling in the Leinster Championship, Antrim 22 points, Laois 20 points, and that means that Antrim play Wexford then in the next round of the Leinster Championship. Laois will face Galway. Right now, though, let's go down pitch side where Joanne Cantwell is speaking to the recently retired Waterford great, and I'm sure, Joanne, a very happy man at the moment anyway, Tony Brown.
Definitely very, very happy. It's strange for me having Tony Brown here instead of in the dressing room getting ready for the second half. If it's strange for us, what has it been like for you, Tony?
Oh, well, to be honest with you, Joanne, very, very unusual week for me, especially coming up through the square in Thurles this morning. It was absolutely, very, very difficult. But at the same time, watching it from the stand, they are very, very happy at half-time.
Yeah, they were impressive. Can they go on and win in the second half?
I think they can. The only thing I think can stop or rattle Waterford at the moment is a goal from Cork.
OK, Tony Brown, thanks very much. The man who's taken over the number 5 journey is certainly doing so well in the first half. I wonder if they can continue in the second.
It certainly is strange to see Tony on the sideline. It is, though, time to hand back to the commentary team, Michael Duignan and Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Brian Gavin is just trotting onto the pitch here for the second half. And, no changes that we can see, but we'll double check, but I'm pretty sure there are no changes. As our panel were saying, and indeed Tony Brown was saying to Joanne, goals are now required, particularly from a Cork perspective. But they need to have a little bit more vigour and fire in their bellies in the second half. I'm sure the Rebels will produce. Right now, it's Waterford that have the possession. Jamie Nagle under a little bit of pressure. Ball comes loose and available. Sending it down the centre. Mark Ellis comes across to gather it. Shane Walsh almost knocked it off the hurl of Pádraig Mahoney. Lots of bobbling and dithering going on. Comes back for his Damien Cahalane. Goes for the long ball. Cork posing a potential threat here from a Waterford perspective, and that's over the bar from Patrick Horgan. That's his first score of the match from play. He's already scored 3 from 3s. A little bit more determination from Cork.
There is, Martin. I see actually Bill Cooper, number 22, is in there at centre half forward. Pat Crone has gone to the middle of the field. I'm not sure who's gone off. I just noticed him there in the last couple of minutes. We'll look out there and we'll see what change has been made.
I'm not too sure if Keane McCarthy is the player that made way.
That's right, Marty. Keane McCarthy's not there.
Referee having a word with Conor Lahan. He's shown him a yellow card.
Yeah, that was the last ball. Jamie Nagle hand passed it out, and he just came in with the hurl and he clipped him into the helmet and got the yellow card. He called it back.
Short puck out from Stephen O'Keefe to Barry Coughlin. Sideline ball. Jimmy Barry Murphy wanted it to go the other way, but the linesman says it's a Waterford ball. Remember, Waterford are playing against the breeze in this second half. It's going to be taken by Kai de Burka. He's already scored 1 point and really produced a performance in the first half well beyond his 19 years of age. Sideline ball here for Cork. Christopher Joyce sends it into the centre where Larkin McLaughlin is available. Over towards Bill Cooper from Youghal. Dispossessed beautifully by Kevin Moran. Again, he didn't go for the long ball. Look at Colin Dunford. Take McDonald. Goes back outside. They're calling in the centre. The call is heard. The vision is in absolute perfection, and the shot is fantastic from Pádraig Mahoney. 7 points from the centre half forward. 2 of those from play, 5 from frees.
Yeah, Marty, that's a great team score. Started by Kevin Moran, and Colin Dunford carried it on. A great finish by Pádraig Mahoney. Cork very poor in the first half, and here's Conor Lehane now with a great chance.
Lehane's effort is going just inside that far over post, and that's his first point of this Munster Championship quarter-final. This is the sort of play and indeed performance that we expect from the Middleton man.
Yeah, Conor Lehane, Pat Horgan, first 2 points in the second half. You know, the Cork team in general, in particular the forward line, very poor in the first half, so they'll be happy with those 2 players, influential players, getting into the game.
Great catch by Pádraig Mahoney, straight from Stephen O'Keefe's puck out. The diagonal ball is in at Brian O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan gathers, shoots. This is looking good. Excellent play by Waterford. 2 points at the start of the second half. Both of them quality scores, team scores, with the diagonal ball really working well for Brian O'Sullivan. Puck out is quickly taken, drops in, and it's going to hop out over the end line and wide.
It was a very poor wide, Marty, by Aidan Walsh, but back to the last score. Pádraig Mahoney, a great catch from the puck out, and then a brilliant diagonal ball, and Brian O'Sullivan had moved from the right corner over into the left corner forward, or the left corner over to the right corner position, turned back inside, and a super score. And Waterford keeping it up now here, keeping a 6-point lead.
I'm sure Derek McGrath said at half-time you can expect a far better and more improved performance from Cork. They're not All-Ireland finalists 2013 for nothing. They certainly haven't produced it in this opening half. Here's Alan Cadigan, the one man that is producing the goods. And considering he's a championship debutant, every time the ball goes down towards the Douglas man, the Southsider from Cork City is first to the ball and easily scores his 3rd point.
Oh, he's a very good Marty, very pacey, and that's the second time himself and Mark Ellis have combined great ball in by Mark Ellis in front of him, and a turning over the bar.
Quick puck out to Noel Connors, then comes the diagonal ball. Tactically, Waterford have this well thought out and planned. Now let's see if it works. Mark Ellis did well. Scrambles that far as Aidan Walsh, Daniel Carney. Pat Cronin is available. Cork looking a little bit more eager in this second half. That's what we called in the old days the sandwich. And Patrick Horgan came out the worst of it, and somebody lost a boot as well. No question.
No
Free
question.
for Cork.
Austin Gleeson came in there and tripped him up.
It was Noel Connors that lost the boot, and Austin Gleeson gets a yellow card for his over-exuberance. He's already scored 2 points, 1 from play, 1 from sideline. Waterford thinking about making a change, and that change could be Shane Fives. And Barry Coughlin that's going to make way. And that, what Waterford I think are isolating here is that Alan Cadigan is posing them serious problems, as we've been saying since about 4 o'clock. So Shane Fives will come on for Barry Coughlin. Barry Coughlin named at wing back, playing corner back, and now that's a yellow card for Barry Coughlin, who's about to be replaced, we believe. So 2 quick yellow cards at the start of this second half. Meanwhile, the free is on the 65-metre line. Patrick Horgan takes it and sends it over the crossbar for his 5th point of the match and 4th from a free. So that substitution is now going to take place. Shane Fives is on, Barry Coughlin is on, and as anticipated, Shane Fives has gone in to watch Alan Cadigan.
I don't think there's any choice really. Yellow card there as well. 3 points scored off him. Did some very good things, Barry Coughlin, in his first game, championship game for Waterford, but I had to make that change.
I think you're going to hear a lot more about young Barry Coughlin. He shouldn't be in any way disappointed with being taken off. Christopher Joyce into the centre to Mark Ellis. They'll find Alan Cadigan. Look at this. Shane Fives getting his first touch. Cadigan gets away. He can score from here if he hits it correctly, but he drives this one wide. This looks possibly the easiest of all the opportunities that came his way.
It did indeed. Great catch again. Excuse me, and beat his man easily. But I just noticed he has turned back on his backhand for the scores, and that was off his open right side, even though he's right-handed. And it just maybe relaxed. It was too easy a chance and bad wide, really.
Jimmy Barry Murphy watches the dropping ball. Christopher Joyce managed to get it past Mark Ellis. Bill Cooper is there. Great block down by Richie Foley. Line ball. Derek McGrath and Dan Shanahan indicate that it is a Waterford ball, and they've overruled the linesman. Now the linesman who indicated first it was a Cork ball and then a Waterford ball. Let's see who got the last touch here if we can. And the referee has overruled the linesman here and given the ball to Cork.
I think it was a Cork ball, Marty. I think it hit off the line. Dan Shannon is there fighting for every ball, regardless of which way it's going. He's looking for everything there on the sideline.
It's a poor sideline cut from Aidan Walsh. Going forward is Austin Gleeson. Look at Gleeson go! He's heading towards the 13. What can he produce here? A goal for Waterford! Fantastic! What a goal! It may only be May 25th, but that is a contender for goal of the season. A controversial decision about the sideline. It comes to Gleeson, and here comes the rocket. Unstoppable.
Marty, that is one of the best goals you'll ever see in Semple Stadium. He was half fouled going through. Brian Gavin gave him the advantage, let him off, and Maisy run, and what a goal. He's just stuck it up in the top corner of the net.
Who wrote the script for this match? It was supposed to be Cork. They were All-Ireland finalists, promoted from Division 1B to 1A. Waterford relegated. And here's more trouble for Cork with a capital T. It's Shane Walsh getting his first touch, and indeed his first score. Wonderful play by Waterford. In the twinkling of an eye, it's 1-1, and it makes a substantial difference on the scoreboard. You're not wrong if you've just come into the living room to watch the Sunday game. That is Waterford 116, Cork 11 points, and they're going for more. This is Jake Dillon from out the field, but this one is going left and wide. Well, Michael Duggan.
Well, Marty, young players breaking the scene every now and again, and they look like they're born for this big stage. And Austin Gleeson, certainly, he's had a couple of poor wides, but he's cut over the line ball from 45 metres out, and then that goal really has announced his arrival on the senior inter-county stage.
A little bit of a push by Stephen McDonnell. Went up. Colin Dunford is on the ground. Referee says play on. Cork need a response. Cadigan is one man that can do it. So too is Conor Lahan. But Waterford are chasing everything in packs. Coming away with it. Getting it out just a little bit past Kevin Moore. Richie Foley's effort is blocked initially by Daniel Carney. Still working hard. That's Shane Fives. Backfires Richie Foley, who's right beside him, similar with the white helmet. Into the centre. Shane Walsh just tips it on for his Jake Dillon. Dillon is fouled. But the stick work is one thing, the skill. But it is the sheer tenacity and determination that Waterford are producing is really admirable.
It is indeed, Marty. They're playing very, very well. As Mark Ellis get the yellow card, I think there, in fairness, Jake Dillon did duck into that tackle, and Ellis is a big man, and the arm came over the shoulder. I think harsh enough, maybe yellow card. But Waterford now moving all over the place again. They had nobody inside actually in the full forward line there, so they couldn't strike it in. They were trying to carry it and won this free, and a nice lead to have at this stage of the game.
Padraig Mahoney standing over this free. He's already scored 7 times. Hitting it gently, but hitting it accurately over the crossbar. Stretches Waterford lead to an impressive 20 points to 11, or 117 to 11. Colin Dunford is going to make way for this man. This is Ray Barry. Colin Dunford on his championship debut has also played quite well. Good puck out again from Anthony Nash. Coming forward is Patrick Horgan. Cork need a goal. He's going for it. Oh, what a save! What a fantastic save by Stephen O'Keefe. There's still a chance there. There's a bit of a melee. There's Waterford defenders all over the place. They pulling it. Stephen O'Keefe is there. It's gone out over the end line and into the back of the net. A goal for Cork. My word, what a shot by Patrick Horgan. what a brilliant save by Stephen O'Keefe. But to be honest with you, the Waterford defence should have cleared it after this.
A brilliant save, and then followed up. I think there was a couple of good blocks in here if you watch. And a lot of bravery. I wonder was the Cork forward in the square. Johnny.
Bill Cooper seemed to get the last
Johnny Cooper, the Dublin footballer. Yeah, Johnny Cooper wouldn't be down Thurles today in the middle of this. No relation.
Noel Connors is down injured, but
I think it was Bill Cooper got the final touch. I just thought him open.
We'll have to look at it again just to be doubly sure. We could have been Pat Cronin, but it equally looked like Bill Cooper got the last touch. So we'll double check.
It was a brilliant save, and surprised that it wasn't.
Let's just see this again. This is some goal. This is the Waterford goal earlier on, and that is some effort by Austin Gleeson. And within minutes, Cork had responded. Different ball game again.
But that's hurling, Marty. You know, you say 9 points game over, next thing a goal. Now we're back to 6. Cork playing with the wind, and it's all to play for again.
6 points between the teams. Austin Gleeson, lovely skill, beautiful pickup. 4 Cork players around him. One of them hits what I thought was a fair shoulder, Michael.
That looked like a good shoulder to me.
And there's a follow-on, and there's descent, and there's an extra 13 metres. But to be honest with you, I think Cork are absolutely correct here. This was a legitimate shoulder coming in there.
Yeah.
To me, that was shoulder to shoulder.
Good shoulder, and that's what we're crying out for in the game, and that was shoulder and shoulder. That shouldn't have been a free, and now it's a simple tap over for Pádraig Mahoney.
Cork going to introduce another substitute, Brian Lawton. It looks like is going to be coming on. We'll talk about that in a moment. The main thing is Pádraig Mahoney is going for his 9th point of the game here. This is an important free, just to give Waterford renewed confidence again, as Daniel Carney is the player that's going to make way here. And it's Brian Lawton that's on for Cork. Castlemartyr, man, another championship debutant. Puck out from Anthony Nash. Lands deep in Waterford territory. Bit of a scramble again. Seamus Harnedy tries to get away. Plenty of Waterford defenders. Gives it back to Conor Lahan. Little jink to the right is beautiful. Little stick work is absolutely superb. But the finish is such a disappointment for Conor Lahan and for Cork. Again, all the hard work was done just at the finish.
Yeah, unbelievable. I think Cork felt there was a foul under that last puck out as well. I thought there was, and they're getting very annoyed on the sideline. But Conor Lahan has all the skill in the world, all the ability, and he beat his man beautifully. They're great footwork, but a bad wide from straight in front of the goals.
Puck out from Stephen O'Keefe. Oh, fantastic. What a catch, Aidan Walsh. Now, what about the finish? Equally outstanding. Now, if you want a little bit of inspiration, look to Aidan Walsh. Wasn't that something else, Michael?
That's an unbelievable score. He's having a fine game. You'd have to say cut over a great line ball in the first half. And I thought Kevin Moore might have thrown the hurl. He's on the yellow card already, and the ref didn't take any action. And that is the yellow card offence as well, so he could be lucky man to be still on the field.
Diagonal ball puts Jamie Nagle under a little bit of pressure. Get the ball down the field. 2 against 2 here. Breaking ball again. McDonald is available. Under pressure from Shane Walsh. Was that a throw? Referee says play on. Mark Ellis driving it long. Down towards Alan Callaghan. Pat Cronin is there. Conor Lahan wanted to pass outside. That's a poor decision by Pat Cronin because the options were available left and right. Stephen O'Keefe. Drive it down that wing. Control here is vital. There's a little touch here from Bill Cooper. Laying it in for Seamus Harnedy. Patrick Horgan is available to his right. This is Horgan. It's his run that caused the goal. And Noel Connors trips unnecessarily. And this gives the Glen Rovers man an easy enough chance to take the free himself and put it over the bar. And that could well be a yellow card as well for Noel Connors. Brian Gavin waiting for Patrick Horgan to take the free. That's over the bar. His 6th point of the game. Still only 5 points between the teams.
Yeah, it's all to play for though, Marty. Cork, very fit team. We showed that last year several times.
Stephen Moylan is on. He's a clubmate of the Cadigans in Douglas. His dad was a Blackrock man, a great hurler in the 70s and 80s with Cork. Coming on for is Dermot Brannock. As Cork make changes, and so too to Waterford, obviously there. Puck out from, fantastic. We've seen some great fielding here at Semple Stadium today. Corrig Manning equaling what Aidan Walsh did a moment ago, but not given the freedom to take the point subsequently. He is dragged down and it's a free. He's also suffering a little bit from cramp.
Yeah, brilliant catch again. And Marty, that's an interesting point. I saw a couple of the Waterford players being treated for cramp, and we saw Cork last year on several occasions coming from behind, and finishing out games very, very strongly. And Pádraig Mahony's been treated for a bit of cramp. We saw Austin Gleeson before that. And he's back up now and he's going to be taking the free.
Well, you have to admire that he took the responsibility despite feeling the cramp, that he feels the radar is working, and it is. He scored 9 times already in this Munster Championship quarter-final. This is just about 35-40 metres out. There's the angle you can now see. Should be relatively easy for Pádraig, and that's over the bar. And every time Cork get a score, Waterford have this ability to come back and just stay in front. 6 points between the teams, 16 minutes left in this Munster Championship quarter-final. Again, Waterford foul unnecessarily. Referee felt that Richie Foley was the player coming in the back of the Cork man. So this is a relatively easy free in turn for Patrick Horgan. Horgan takes it. Hasn't lost his touch. Still a really top-class free taker. That's his 7th point of the game. And still remains 119-114 now.
Yeah, and interesting, Pádraig Mahony's playing centre forward, but he's coming out to this wing right under us here every time for the puckouts, and they're aiming from him. He's caught a couple of great ones.
Again, the ball is dropping down. Richie Foley tries to turn onto his left, stumbles. Aidan Walsh survives the challenge, tries to get away, flicks it inside. There's Bell Cooper, and away he goes towards the 20. Make that the 13, lays it off. Cadigan is there, and it's deflected out for a 65. Wonderful defending by Waterford, but Cork split open Waterford here. What a run by. Here comes Cadigan. What happened here? Brilliant goalkeeping indeed by Stephen O'Keefe.
I think he threw up the ball and Stephen O'Keefe actually pulled on it, I think, and he met it in mid-air and went out for a 65. He was so brave, first of all. He stood his ground, and I haven't seen that way of blocking the ball before, but when he threw it up, he actually pulled with him in the air and it collided and went out.
5 points between the teams as Patrick Horgan takes the 65. Now 4 points between the teams.
Back to 4, Marty. You have to credit Cork. They were 9 down a few minutes ago, and Pat Horgan's radar really seems to be in now. That's 6 frees and 65 for him. Just watch it again now. He just pulls it as well at the same time, and the ball deflects off then out for
brave goalkeeping by Stephen O'Keefe,
and a good bit of hurling brain as well. Nice bit of hurling skill as well.
Crowd here in Semple Stadium getting behind these two wonderful teams, giving it everything. Kevin Moore chinks left and right, sends it in low. Stephen McDonnell is there. Good hands. Conor Lahan goes down the side that you wouldn't expect him to. Waterford exposed again. Lahan hits, and this ball is wide. Conor will be very disappointed, so will Jimmy Barry Murphy, because normally Lahan is deadly from that range.
Marty is some hurler, like the skill there, the catch, the footwork, he went around it, and we've seen that a few minutes ago as well, and he just won't believe that he put that wide. It's just brilliant hurling, but a poor wide by Conor Lahan.
Just 1 point to his credit, he's had several opportunities. Dorcan McLaughlin. Bill Cooper has been heavily involved since being introduced. Here comes Patrick Horgan, and that is dropping over the bar. Corkman was showing a little bit of leadership. It wasn't evident in the first half when he was well bottled up by Noel O'Connor's, but since he moved out around the half-forward line, far more prominent.
He is, Marty, but I think, Cork looking very fit and fresh now. Waterford begin to tire, and as you said, Bill Cooper hugely influential at centre half forward since he came on at half time.
Stephen O'Keefe changes the direction of the puck out. Chance here perhaps for Waterford. Tony Brannock is possessed. Damien Cahalane to Bill Cooper, showing well as I mentioned earlier. Cork surging forward. Noel Connors just bypassing the sliotar there. Cork trying to work something here with Stephen Moylan. Alan Cadigan out initially along the sideline. That looks a brilliant score. Remember the name. It's Alan Cadigan. You're going to hear a lot about him.
Marty, there's some brilliant scores in the second half, but none better than that. Great work by Brian Lawton, forced the ball up the field. He made a great interception up the field, came down, Stephen Moylan threw it around, and a great score there by Alan Cadigan.
Seamus Prendergast is on at full forward for Shane Walsh as Waterford try and put a bit of physique into that full forward line and gain possession. There's a Waterford man down injured. We think 'tis Austin Gleeson. The referee allows the puck out rather surprisingly to be taken. Patrick Horgan, Cork playing with far more determination, stepping up in tempo, and from way out the field Horgan scores his 10th point of the game. Inspirational.
Yeah, Marty's got controversial there, as you say, with the puck out. A brilliant score by Pat Horgan. Since he's gone out left in the last 10 minutes in particular, he's striking his frees with much more confidence, and a couple of great points from play. And it took Cork some time. They looked very, very rusty in the first half, but they're putting up a brilliant second half performance there now.
Brian Gavin is ensuring that Austin Gleeson can continue on. He's limping poorly as the puck out is quickly taken. Ty de Burka sends it down the wing here, and that's out over the sideline. Remember, Waterford led at half-time by 13 points to 7. That was a 6-point advantage. And after Austin Gleeson's goal, they certainly raced into what seemed to be a substantial lead. So when you put that into context, what we're seeing here is a very impressive performance by Cork. Just over 10 minutes to go in this Munster Championship quarter-final. Can Cork get an equaliser? Can Waterford hold on? The drama is about to unfold. Over first, Brian O'Sullivan. Control it. Sideline ball for Cork. And right now, you'd have to say, Michael Dagnan, the momentum seems to be going to the Leesiders.
It's all Cork the last 10 minutes. They were, as you said, Mark, they were 9 points down at one stage. Back to a point now, and that line ball, Brian O'Sullivan should have been moving onto that ball. He was waiting behind for the hand pass. There's hand pass out over the line.
Sideline ball is taken, a bit of a lee here, but again Waterford regained the possession. That's Seamus Prendergast that sends it forward. Good ball up. Anthony Nash comes off his goal line, looks around to see if anybody's available, goes down the middle, but there's nobody in a red and white jersey down there. Richie Foley. McDonald gets a touch to it. Clear down the field by Christopher Joyce. Breaking ball favours on this occasion Liam Lawler. Gives it back to his goalkeeper, Stephen O'Keefe. Gets away from the initial challenge. There's Michael Brick Walsh. He calms things down by taking a little bit of a shoulder run with the sliotar and then goes for distance. Remember, Waterford playing against the breeze in the second half. There's a chance here perhaps because Seamus Prendergast has it. Waterford need a score. Good defending here by Cork. Referee has blown his whistle. He's given the free to Cork, and he's not going to allow play to continue on. He wants the free to be taken.
Yeah, and Seamus Prendergast, we've seen him many times getting great scores for Waterford in big games. Really, he should have taken on his man there, and went for a score. He went to play a low ball across, got blocked down and fouled his man free out.
Free taken by Anthony Nash. Waterford hanging on just about. Away comes Michael Brick Walsh again. Sends it into the space. Coming across to gather his way, Barry. Stephen McDonald, rock solid. He's won a lot of dirty ball inside there. 50-50s. The defender from Glen Rovers has done well. He's bottled up, and that is a free out for Cork.
And Steve McDonald's had some second half, Marty, as you say. Come out that ball there. We'll just watch it again here now. Didn't look to be a lot in that. I thought the players were trying to tackle him and maybe overcarried it.
He gets the benefit of the doubt, and Anthony Nash takes the free and gives it a mighty wallop. Breaking ball again. Michael Brick Walsh is there. So too is Patrick Horgan. Referee is going to give a throw ball just inside that D, outside the Waterford 20-metre line. 7.5 minutes or thereabouts left in this quarter-final. Ball is thrown in. Austin Higgins, as you just saw, on the ground still, getting some attention at the opposite end of the field. Who has it? Waterford. Kevin Moore. Slither bobbling out of the grasp on this occasion. Richie Foley losing out. This is Aidan Walsh dropping it in. Stephen O'Keefe is underneath it, about to be tackled by Harnedy. Scoops it over to this side of the field, keeping calmness personified. That's good play by Waterford. Sending it into the middle to Seamus Prendergast. Ball breaks free. Brian O'Sullivan. Larkin McLaughlin right beside him. Still Waterford holding on. This is Donny Brannock, I should say. Donny Brannock. Brian O'Sullivan over in the same vicinity looking for the possession. And the referee felt that Donny Brannock overcarried. And that's going to be a free for Cork.
If you watch it here, Marty picked it up here and he never played the ball there. He touched the hurl off the hand, but he never released the ball, and that's a good call by Brian Gavin.
Yeah, correct decision by the referee. So Cork going to introduce a substitute. Number 23 is Jamie Coughlin, and Seamus Harnedy is the player that's called ashore.
Big free now, but Horgan certainly can get the distance.
Patrick Horgan taking the fray, and it's right and wide. Wow, the drama continues.
Yeah, but you have to credit Waterford, Marty. The last 5 minutes, like Cork have all the momentum, as you say, but Waterford weathered the storm. There hasn't been a score now for the last 4 or 5 minutes, and I think Michael Walsh has gone very deep there for the last few minutes. Won a few good balls, and they started to win a bit of possession again up the field.
1 point between the teams as we head towards the 65th minute. Just 5 to go, or thereabouts. It's 11 minutes since Waterford scored, and they badly need one here to restore the confidence. Trying to scoop it up. Oh, he did so well. Kevin Moore. Blocked down. It's superb. Cork chase everything, but then give the ball away. Michael Brick Walsh is fouled, and that is a free for Waterford.
Well, Marty, if you ever saw what Brick Walsh meant to Waterford, we saw it in the last minute there. He lost his hurl, he went over, met Larkin with his shoulder, and then he put the ball between his 2 feet, got it up into his hand, released the hand pass, and then he went back, picked up the hurl and won the ball coming back down the field and won the free. An absolutely brilliant passage of play there by Michael Walsh.
A crucial free here. But Pádraig Mahoney has been Mr. Consistency since just around 4 o'clock this afternoon. He's on the 65. It's hitting it over the crossbar. Pádraig Mahoney's free taking and indeed performance and work rate needs to be indeed praised, because he's played a crucial role in this Munster Championship quarter-final, particularly if Waterford hang on for victory. Kevin Moran got a touch. Alan Callaghan is fouled, and that is a free, and that's a soft free again for Cork, but it is a free for that foul on Alan Callaghan. Waterford will be slightly annoyed over anxiety on the part of Waterford here. Patrick Horgan takes the free and puts it over the bar. It's back to just 1 point, and the clock ticking towards 70 minutes. Stephen O'Keefe watching. Derek McGrath, Jimmy Barry Murphy along the sideline. Ball skips by so many players. Ends up with Brian O'Sullivan sending it in towards the corner. Seamus Prendergast battling here with Shane O'Neill. Gets it into the centre to Mark Ellis. Drives it long. Diagonal the ball again. Conor Lahan eventually gathers it. Swings right. Dangerous enough ball, but Waterford should have the situation under control. Liam Lawler, Colossus at full back, is under severe pressure. Cleverly gets it out. That's good play by Liam. Stephen O'Neill has been outstanding. Stephen McDonald, I should say, has been outstanding in this second half. Another wonderful ball won by the cornerback. There's a scramble. Tension palpable. Chasing after this is Jamie Coughlin. Sending it across. Dangerous ball for Bill Cooper. And that is over the bar. Cork's persistence and self-belief, and indeed good vision by Jamie Coughlin, spotting Bill Cooper in a very good position, means that the sides are level only for the second time in this Munster Championship quarter-final. Remember, they drew the Munster final back in 2010. Was forced to a replay and indeed extra time. Are we heading towards replay territory here?
Yeah, and the man certainly that has been instrumental in that comeback from 9 points down is Bill Cooper, and he's got that point.
Here come Waterford now. There's a wonderful chance. Oh, just getting a touch. Just a vital touch by Shane O'Neill. It was a vital interception. The free has been given to Cork. What a run here. Keep an eye on the cornerback. Just a touch. Oh, the Bishopstown man did so well.
That was brilliant anticipation. Maybe he could have carried it just another yard or two. Marty gave it a little bit early, but a brilliant piece of skill by Shane O'Neill.
Brian O'Sullivan giving it to Prendergast. Prendergast cannot believe he was inches, centimetres away.
Some pictures showing the disappointment.
About 30 seconds left in this intriguing second half. What a comeback by Cork. Is there a winner in Semple Stadium, Thurles, on this day? Out comes Shane O'Neill again. Drives it down the middle. Coming out to gather is the man who's really performed well, Alan Cadigan. Was he fouled on this occasion? The referee says no. Michael Brigg-Walsh turns around, looks to try and keep possession. Hand passes into the centre. Cork fans really infuriated that Alan Cadigan didn't get a free there. It looked like a free to me, I'll be honest with you. Now Prendergast goes for the point from way out the field, and it comes back off the post and over the bar. One of the veterans of this Waterford side. Is that a winner? Puck out is quickly taken. First Christopher Joyce cutting inside the middle. 4-1 for Pearson. But the pass inside is a poor one. Waterford regain possession. Once again it's Brian O'Sullivan. Flicks it in for Seamus Prendergast. He's done it once. This time it's blocked. There's a race for possession. Out comes Anthony Nash. We're into injury time. 70 minutes, 30 seconds played. Nash's hurley is surely held. And remember that Waterford got that perhaps winning score after Alan Cadigan looked like he was fouled. Much discussion will center with that. The ball is dropped down. Anthony Nash seemed to be fouled, and there is a little bit of a melee developing. The referee has blown his whistle from where the ball landed, and this to me has draw territory written all over it. And Brian Gavin was indicating there was a pull across what appeared to be Anthony Nash as he delivered the ball. Derek McGrath up and down the sideline here trying to encourage his players.
Well, Austin Gleeson has been dead on his feet, Marty, for the last 10 minutes. He went in kind of a lazy tackle, but I think the one before that, maybe with Alan Cadigan, was more of a free. I'm not sure about that, but I'll have to look at it again.
Here comes Patrick Horgan, and Horgan lashes it over the crossbar, and surely, with just about 40 seconds left, this could well be going to a replay. Cork 121, Waterford 121. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on. We've already had 71 minutes and almost 40 seconds.
There's time, Marty, for one more score. There's 20 seconds to go.
Puck out by Stephen O'Keefe, gathered by O'Sullivan. Drives it down that wing. Seamus Prendergast. His physique and presence has added considerably to Waterford's scoring potential. Lineman at the far side indicates that it's a sideline ball. We're heading towards the 72nd minute. Cork 121, Waterford 121. It was a drawn match in the Munster final when they last met in the province, remember? And that looks like what it's going to be again. Going to take this is Lorcan McLaughlin. sideline ball, taken by McLaughlin, gives it back, but the referee blows the full-time whistle. And Cork and Waterford have to do it all again. Drama in Semple Stadium. There might have been a small attendance. We don't know exactly what it is. I'd say somewhere between 10 and 12,000. But you can be rest assured for the replay there'll be a massive crowd in Semple Stadium. The full-time score in Semple Stadium, Thurles, on this day, May 25th, is Cork 121, Waterford 121. As the crowd to the pitch, Michael Dyken, loads of talking points.
Yeah, loads of talking points. But you have to say, Waterford played brilliantly in the first half, and Cork were very, very slow to get going. But then, you know, Waterford went 9 points up into the second half. You say it has to be their game, and Cork really dug in there, and they showed why they were pucking the ball away from winning the All-Ireland last year. And we had everything then in the last 15-20 minutes. Some absolutely unbelievable scores from both sides. Alan Cadigan, first championship game, 4 points from play. Pádraig Mahoney, outstanding performance. Pat Horgan all over to us, and that goal from Austin Gleeson, you paid to watch that alone. But fantastic game, and look, we had a great year last year, and we're going to have a great year this year if this is anything to go by.
Well, there is something special about Tipperary Kilkenny, but there's awful special about Cork and Waterford when they meet, and certainly today we got plenty of talking points both in the first half and the second half. Let's go down to the sideline for some post-match reaction with Joanne.
Aidan Walsh, looking at you at first, I was thinking you were gutted, but I think you're just absolutely exhausted. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's probably first championship game. First championship game in our league. It's very well paced. But no, it was tough but good. It's good to get the first one out. And I suppose at half time we probably looked like we were in a bit of trouble, but showed great courage to come back, and hopefully next week we'll improve, and we've a lot to work on next.
Do you feel relieved at the end of that or disappointed?
I suppose a bit both. We kind of had the game in our hands there the last 10-15 minutes, and I suppose some of our own mistakes gave them scores. Like I suppose we gave a good few frees there. But no, in fairness, like we knew today Waterford are a fine hurling team, and I suppose a lot of people write him off, but they showed what quality they have there. Even the players they brought on were very good. So no, we learned enough from today, and we look forward to next week, or when the replays on. I'm not sure when it'll be on now, but we just look forward to it, and I'm sure it'll be a cracker again like today.
No doubt, we hope so, and congratulations on a great hurling championship debut for you, Aidan. Thanks very much.
Yeah, we had a draw in Omagh, remember, last Sunday, a draw here in Thurles today. Is this going to be the summer of draws? That's the way it's shaping up at the moment, you have to say. We will have more reaction and analysis after this commercial break.
Facing the Dragons is tough.
Talk to me about your pricing structure.
Does it not explode in the microwave?
How much would it cost?
You're not there yet. I'm out.
But it can be very rewarding.
You're on a very interesting journey. Wow, what an idea.
Just shows your ambition.
I'm just so excited.
Junior Dragons Den, next Sunday at 9:30 on RTE1.
Welcome to the new house.
Bank of Ireland Mortgages.
I'm in.
For buying, moving, or improving your home.
It could be England, it could be France, it could be Bosnia.
If you want the very best quality food anywhere, you know where to shop.
Worried about the cost of car insurance? Well, now you don't have to be, because AXA are giving 1 month free. So you can be AXA protected for less. We're available 24 hours a day, all year round. So call, visit or click now. AXA, redefining standards.
When you're not hydrated.
Dunnos.
Your brain's not at 100%.
Dunnos. Soup.
When you can't think straight. Hydrate. Deep River Rock.
Cyclists are among the most vulnerable users, so we have a responsibility to respect their right to the road. On left turns, do not overtake a cyclist as you approach a junction. They might be continuing straight ahead. Always be aware of cyclists when getting out of your car. Use your mirrors and check your blind spots. When overtaking, allow plenty of space. Cyclists may need to avoid drains or other obstacles. When overtaking large groups, take particular care, as they may travel two abreast. When turning right, a cyclist may move to the centre of the lane. We all share the road, so respect cyclists. And always expect the unexpected.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
Now here at Semple Stadium in Thurles, it has indeed ended all square in this Munster Hurling Championship quarter-final. Cork, 1 goal and 21 points. Waterford, 1 goal and 21 points. And there's a look at the match stats at the end of today's game. Well, I suppose, Liam Sheedy, when you come to Munster Championship matches, you rarely are disappointed, and we certainly weren't today.
No, you'd have to give full credit to Waterford. You know, they set out their intent in the first half, gave themselves a lovely cushion, 6 points up at half time. But I think we all expected Cork to be the ones to chase down the goal. And, you know, all of a sudden, Waterford got the goal, fantastic strike. And all of a sudden, they had a 9-point gap. And you said, 45 minutes gone in the match, 9 points down. Very few teams can come back. Cork are probably one of the few that can. And then the next 13 minutes, they outscored Waterford 1-7 to 2 points. And I suppose clawed themselves back into the game. They had some really good scores. You know, didn't really fire today. And the only time I've seen the Cork passion was really in that second half. They were very lethargic, very, you know, stationary in that first half. But in the second half, they came alive and showed us why they did get to the All-Ireland final last year. But full credit to Derek McGrath and his forces. You know, they really came. They had the lion's share of possession, and they can be very proud. I'm not so sure what they believed in their team. They should take great heart from that performance out there today. They gave it absolutely everything. Fantastic game.
Lethargic maybe in that first half, Gerald, but I suppose that translated into no panic in the second half.
Well, and the no panic button was well tested in the second half, because really when they started the second half, even though Patrick Horgan started with a point, Waterford matched them point for point, you know, up until the time of the goal. And, you know, when they got the goal, when Bill Cooper got the goal around the 46th minute, they were 9 points down. You know, that was a massive. It had gone from 5 at half time to 9 after 46 minutes, and it looked all over. But Cooper's goal changed the whole thing. Now, in fairness, Alan Cadigan, the corner forward, he had kept them in the game up to then. But then McDonald stepped up to it in the backs. He was absolutely brilliant, Stephen McDonald. And Patrick Horgan moved from the full forward line out the field. And the whole dynamic of the game changed. So, and as Liam was saying, like, from the 46th minute to the 60th, there was only a point in it after 60 minutes. And then they survived another scare, because from the next 6 minutes, you expected them to push on and maybe get a goal or a point. They didn't score again. And Waterford were next to score again. And then they brought it level. Then Seamus Prendergast gets a point again, and they still get a point. So it just shows, like, even in the All-Ireland last year, the very same team, they were out hurling for long periods, but they always claw their way back into the game. So in spite of what we often say about them, you know, and in spite of their lack of aggression, they have that belief. I don't know whether you can call it character, but they have that belief, and that's what dragged them through today, because they were way below their best form today.
They were, and the thing about it is, Cyril, now that they've gotten away with it, if you like, today, what about the replay?
Yeah, psychologically, Cork could be much happier. They were out hurled for a lot of the game. Okay, everyone felt would come into the second half. A bad line ball, great goal. Next thing, they're out of the game, 9 points down, and they do claw their way back, but what were the chances to win it? I think Cork got out of jail, you know what I mean, today. I'm not saying they'll be happy, but I think they'll be relieved that they didn't lose this match today.
So let's get the thoughts from inside the Cork camp. The Cork manager, Jimmy Barry Murphy, joins us right now. Jimmy, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. That gave you a right fright today?
Certainly did, Michael, yeah. I thought Waterford played very, very well. We didn't probably play as well as we'd like, and I think some of the comments the lads made in the studio are very fair and accurate. We'd like to be playing better than what we are, but I think some of the form we showed today was a continuation of our league form, which hasn't been very good. So a lot of our players, I'd say, will be disappointed with their form today, and it's something we'll have to obviously improve on if we want to go anywhere.
You were struggled in the first half. You went 9 points down in that second half, and I have to say, neutrals looking at the game thought you were a beaten team.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd have to take credit for coming back, certainly, but there was quite a strong breeze there, and I must say at 9 points down I didn't think we'd be able to pull that back. But in fairness to our lads, they did show great character, and that's something that I'm very, very happy about and very pleased with. But again, I'm just repeating myself, our overall form was not good. But I suppose you have to give credit to Waterford. They took the game to us, they ran at us when they got the opportunities, and they got some excellent scores. So I suppose you got to look at both sides. Yeah,
but you must have taken great heart, Jimmy, at the same time for the way your team fought back and got themselves out of trouble.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about that, Michael, as you say. I mean, it shows great character, and I don't care who you're playing, a 9-point lead can be hard to peg back, especially when you're not playing as well as you'd like. But the lads dug in fairness to them, and I suppose we could have stolen it in the end, but it certainly wouldn't have been deserved, I think.
Do you think, Jimmy, that playing in Division 2 of the league, all your matches in Division 2, that had a big effect in your preparation and in your sharpness coming into the day?
I'm not sure, Jared. It possibly is, but I mean, you'd certainly think that since the last Tipperary Games League, we'd have picked up our form a bit from that. But I think there was just, as I said, signs already that today, especially early on, that we weren't at our best that we'd like to be at. But whether that's coming out of Division 1B or not, the different level of games, it probably is a factor.
Jimmy, what about the replay?
Yeah, it's going to be, again, very close. I would hope that the game would bring us on, that it would, give us a harsh dose of reality in relation to where we stand. It shows what a long road back we've got to get back to anywhere near what we were last year. But I suppose the positives are the comeback was great. A 9-point deficit is a great comeback in any man's language, so I'm pleased about that.
All right, Jimmy, listen, we know you're probably just trying to get your head straight after all that roller coaster this afternoon, but we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, sir, let's look at aspects of this game. As I said to Jimmy Barry Murphy there, when Austin Gleeson got the goal for Waterford, I thought the Cork's day was done.
Yeah, I was saying to the boys here, Cork needed a goal. The next thing, Waterford got the goal. It was a poor line ball, and Austin Gleeson cut down. It was a great goal, but again, it reminded me last year of the All-Ireland against Clare. Down the middle, watch this. It's a Cork line ball that was doubtful. Bad line ball here. Now look, picks up the ball here, takes a tackle, goes straight down here. Now look, he's a long way to go. Walks right through the defence, walks 4 or 5 defenders, goes straight. Now it's a fantastic score off the left. Gives Nash no chance. But for a young fella to do that, it's brilliant. But like Jim Barry Murphy said, what the hell, he's after travelling about 35, 40 hours, no one met him with a tackle. It reminded me very much of last year, Pat Donald came down to centre for Clare and created the goal. Came right down the wing more or less this time. Now that put Waterford in like a great position. They got a point straight away after that. Then they went 9 up, and you would feel unless Cork got a goal, and they were lucky enough to get that goal, they came back into it. Now I at that stage you would feel Waterford would drive on and win it. That's why I feel that Cork after the game will be happier. But Waterford played very, very well, and I think they'll grow in confidence as well. It just shows you that the young hurlers that Waterford produced are the real deal. They are good players.
Yeah, no doubt Cork needed that goal, Liam. They got it.
Yeah, they got it. I think Bill Cooper overall had a very, very big impact on the game in the second half. But I think central to it, their comeback as well, was they brought Patrick Horgan out the field. That was a great shot. And in fairness to Stephen O'Keefe, it was a fantastic save. And I suppose another team might lay in the ball, but when Anthony Nash is at the other end of the field, there's no point in lying down grabbing the ball for a 21-yard free. And it was a scrappy goal. And it was nearly like it was a killer blow at that time, because Waterford just needed to hold that lead for that 5 or 10 minutes. I think if they had to do that, they'd have went down and won the game. And when they look back at it, the ball was hanging around there, and when it broke, Patrick Horgan got a flick in it, and Bill Cooper was in there, and he was actually in the square previous, had come back out and went back in to get the goal. So it was definitely a legitimate goal, but it was a huge score for Cork at that time, and just gave him a bit of momentum to come back into it.
Do you know what really surprised me there in the second half was that when you look at the stats, even though Cork won the second half, I think by 113 to 1-8, Waterford had still 57% of the possession. So they really own the ball. And the big problem with Cork is, and we were talking about it here during the game, is their inability to win puck out or win high ball.
Yes.
In the whole game, they only won 13 out of 29 of their own puck-outs. You know, so that is a massive flaw in that half-forward line, and that is one thing that Jimmy will have to address, not alone before the next day, before the season ahead. But there's just something about them, you know, for all their flaws, they still fight to the very, very end, and they come back from almost impossible positions, as they did today. So that will really stand to them. I think they needed this game before they play.
Sure, you'd have to
whoever wins it before they play Clare in the semi-final, they won't be as lethargic. They won't be lacking sharpness as they did today. The replay will do them good, and whoever wins it, I think, will be in a very good shape going into the game against Clare.
It's probably a bad result for Clare, Michael, really, because as Ger said, whoever comes through, and referred to the half-forward line, both Keane McCarthy and Pat Cronin were replaced, which shows they weren't on. Now they'll probably be on the next, but they weren't on sound today. But like, whoever gets through, it's a great build-up for the Clare game for them, but not for Clare.
Barry Murphy was proud, rightly so, of his players, the way they came back into that game, Liam, and that certainly showed character. As Ger said, they might have shown a lot of flaws today, but they did show character. Yeah,
they did. They got the scores at the vital time, and in fairness, you know, they dragged themselves back into the game, and they seem to create space. But I would say Waterford tired that little bit, Michael, in defence. You know, you've seen a lot of guys going down with cramp. I'm not so sure they had that physical fitness that they have some of those younger guys. I mean, it's a huge step up for Austin Leaks and these guys to go from minor. I mean, the poor young fella was out on his feet in the finish. But I mean, Alan Cadigan had no right to go for that score, and we were sitting here, it was right in our line, and said, only a Cork man could do that, to be honest with you. And here's Patrick Horgan again. You know, again, Waterford had a guy on the ground at that stage, and they worked the loose man, and Patrick Horgan put the ball over the bar. But we didn't see that passion that Patrick Horgan is displaying there. We did not see that from Cork in the first half. I feel all the talk coming into the game was that Waterford were going to roll up to Thurles and roll over for them. That was not the case, and I think when they realised they were in a match, they found that impetus, and they needed to, and they were very, very lucky to come out of the game with a draw.
But it still shows, Liam, at the same time, it still shows, you know, the ability within that Cork team. In the first 20 minutes today, they scored just 3 points. Yet they end up with 121. You know, which is a great score. You know, and to score 121 on a day when you're not at your best, on a day when you're completely dominated possession-wise, it just shows the danger they have from midfield up. Even though, apart from Cadigan and Horgan, you wouldn't say any other forward played really well. I mean, Conor Lahan had a nightmare day because he had made them for himself now, worked very hard, but missed 2 chances he'd now put over with his eyes closed. But they have that danger there. But as Cyril was pointing out, you know, Gleeson's goal shows that flaw is still there. That was Pat Donlan all over again, just putting Austin Gleeson in his place. They need to remedy that.
But I suppose, sir, like in a match that's a draw, it's all about the ifs and the buts and the maybes. In fact, Cork had a goal chance as well as the goal that they got in that second half. And you felt if they got this, that psychologically would have sunk Waterford.
You know, this was a good move. And again, now when they get little chances, they're dangerous here. At this stage now, the rag was up and they're looking to burst through. Aidan Welch cuts across here. There's a great ball inside here. Now this is a perfect pass. Watch where young Cadigan goes brilliant. Little fan flicker, dead on. But Stephen O'Keefe comes out like a rocket, and he actually gets his hold to the ball and blocks a certain goal. O'Keefe is a great keeper, got actually to the hold to the ball without, but still Pat Horgan was able to go out and put the ball over the bar. Gerard was emphasising about the Cork lads, and they are good. But Michael, it shows you how good hurlers that the young fellas kind of half a team of of marquee players, and yet they come out with young fellas there that played very, very well, and like there is a bright future in Waterford.
Oh yeah, okay. I think it's time for us all to draw a breath after all of that. It is competition time here on the Sunday game. Now here's another chance for you to win a break in Galway for one of the sporting highlights of the year, the annual Racing Festival.
We're giving you the chance to win a luxury break for you and a friend at the Galway Bay Hotel. You'll be treated to a 2-night stay with dinner on an evening of your choice, a cruise on Loch Corrib, plus tickets to see the Galway Racing Festival and €1,000 spending money. For your chance to win the lot, answer this. Which one of these teams won the 2013 GAA All-Ireland Senior Football Final? Was it Mayo, Dublin or Kerry? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 74 or text the word football followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. More details on RTE Airtel page 194. Lines will close at midday on Monday, May 26th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
All right, good luck with that competition. You probably need to far down at the races. Time to recap this weekend's championship results. In the Ulster Football Championship from last night, of course, Tyrone overcame Down. In the replay, it finished Tyrone 3 goals and 11 points, Down 12 points. Now, earlier this afternoon in Celtic Park, Donegal beat Derry on a scoreline of 1 goal and 11 points to 11 points. In the Connacht Football Championship, Galway had a comprehensive win over London in Ruislip. It finishing Galway 3 goals and 17 points, London 7 points. And that's a Munster hurling quarter-final here at Semple Stadium. Just to remind you, once again, it ended all square. And in the Leinster Hurling Championship, there were wins for Westmeath and for Antrim. Now, you can get all of the action and the reaction from another busy weekend in Gaelic games tonight, and that's on the Sunday game evening edition. Des Cahill is joined by Kevin McStay, Tomás O'Shea, Brendan Cummins and Donlo Cusack from 9:30 here on RTE2.